Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. I salute Bhagavan Shankaracharya, who is compassionate incarnate, who is also the repository of the Shrutis, the Smritis, and the Purana. And he is also the world's benefactor. Atmabodha, self-knowledge. We are on verse 5. Through repeated practice, knowledge purifies the embodied soul, stained by ignorance, and then itself disappears as the powder of the kataka nut disappears after it has cleansed muddy water. So here there are two things. The key words are knowledge purifies, and it's talking about the individual soul, jiva, is stained by ignorance. Now we have, just to make, to put things in correct perspective, we all know that we are divine. And yet, when we try to actualize this divinity, then all the undivinity comes to us. A Brahman has disappeared and Maya comes in. Maya. So one of the reasons why they're saying, through repeated practice, the word used here is Jnana Abhyasa. It's a very, very important term in Vedanta, which has not been properly highlighted as it should be. So the Sanskrit is Ajnana Kalusham Jivam Jnana Bhyasad Vinirmalam Kritva Jnanam Swayam Nashed Jalam Katara Renovat. So through repeated practice, let's go through the verse first. Through repeated practice, Jnana Abhyasa, the practice of knowledge. People say, we have to, what do we have to practice? They say that, oh, I'm Brahman, I'm Brahman. That is not the practice. Oh, you have to listen and you have to hear and you keep on and dwell on it. And yeah, that is it. But before that, there is something called, we will deal with this. Knowledge purifies the embodied soul. So what has stained the individual soul? Stained by ignorance. And then itself disappears. What disappears? Yes. Ignorance disappears as the powder of the kataka nut disappears after it has cleansed muddy water. You know, the kataka nut, it's a cleansing nut. It's called a cleansing nut. The botanical name is Strisons potatorum. It's more like a kind of a herb. In the herb, there is that kind of small node, like you can say nuts. It is used not only for cleaning water. That's because, monks used to go around and drinking water from who knows where. And they used to carry these nuts so that they used to, otherwise they're going to get, all that Brahman will go away otherwise. And the powder, the nut powder, it is used and then it cleans all the bacteria, etc. It was not only used for cleaning water, but it was also used for eye problems and skin problems and anorexia and all these various things, renal functions. So it's now a herb in Ayurveda. It's used extensively in Ayurveda. So the Kataka nut has been given as a, so that the powder itself disappears. It's absorbed, as it were. And as it were, self-destructs. So you can drink that water after it has purified all the dirt inside. Through repeated practice. Now, this is what I want to highlight in today's class. Jnana Abhyasa. Abhyasa is practice. So, what does it do? It does something called a steadfastness in knowledge. So, practice of knowledge makes you steadfast in knowledge. It's called Jnana Abhyasa, and then become Jnana Nishta. Okay? This steadfastness in knowledge is extremely important. For those who pursue the path of inquiry, there's this. And likewise, there is also something like the steadfastness in devotion, steadfastness in yoga, steadfastness in karma, etc. So this is steadfastness in knowledge, and this needs to be practiced. Now, what is it? As I said, it has not been enumerated, and that's the saddest part in these lectures on Advaita Vedanta and all. They don't take the unpopulist view. They take the populist view. It's okay. It's okay. So this has been highlighted in various books, but in the Bhagavad Gita, it has been succinctly put in. So here it is, in the 13th chapter, 7th verse, humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, forbearance, sincerity, service of the teacher, cleanliness, steadiness, control of the body and organs, non-attachment with regard to the objects of the senses, and also absence of egotism, seeing the evil in birth, death, old age, diseases, and miseries, non-attachment and absence of fondness with regard to sons, wives, homes, etc., and constant equanimity of the mind with regard to the attainment of the desirable and the undesirable. There's more to come. An unwavering devotion to me with single-minded concentration, inclination to repair to a solitary, clean place, not delighting in a crowd of people, steadfastness in the knowledge of the self, contemplation on the goal of knowledge of reality. This is spoken of as knowledge. Ignorance is that which is other than this. So here it is. Etad jnanam. So this is knowledge. What is this knowledge? This is the practice. Humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, etc., etc. But we thought only this, that you have to find out, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. No, no, no. That is not the practice of jnana. This is the practice. These, I remember when we were young, monastic principle. You all memorize it and meditate on that first. And then in the class, and then after the next day, I think, yeah, the next day was there, and we came in, and who has memorized it? So half the hands went up and half came. And he lambasted everybody. This is what is actually important. So 13th chapter, they said from the verses 7 to 11. This is called practice of knowledge. And I still remember the etad jnanamiti proktam ajnanam. This is knowledge, and everything else is ignorance. What happens? Why do we have to do this? You see, our attention, we are attentive, but it's mediated through memory. I leave you a little alone, and then you see how your attention goes away. Because all that memory is coming. And the memory is, where did it come from? From the subconscious mind. Now this subconscious mind itself has various systems. It is not one system. It's various systems in dynamic play. It without asking you what they are doing. It's not bothering you. And you cannot have any control there. It's impossible. Now, beneath this subconscious is something called a collective unconscious. What is this collective? Yes. But because you are connected with everything else. You're not just connected with yourself. You're connected with your parents, your friends, your relatives, your community, everything. That is also part of you. Don't think you can get away with this. So these are not in your control at all. How the memory functions, we do not know. Things come up. It's like you're watching a dream. You are watching thoughts emerge, you don't know from where. They will say subconscious. But subconscious is just a kind of a label because we do not know it. The idea of subconscious, we do not know, we label it. We do not know anything about it. So it emerges, these thoughts emerge, and you're watching it. It's like you are completely at the control of these thoughts. You have no control over this, coming, going. And yet, you are the director. You're the director without any control. The idea is, whatever you practice becomes you in this practice of knowledge. What does it become? It becomes a part of you. So the reason why these qualities of knowledge have to become you before you can even think of realizing the Brahman and doing any inquiry. It will be, so if you sit down quietly and you try to meditate, and then you say, like I said, only Maya comes and Brahman has disappeared. So these thoughts, they are millions. They have to be quelled. They have to be. So you might have a control over your subconscious, yeah, after practicing this only. But you don't have any control over the collective unconscious. This is Carl Jung's collective unconscious. So like you study and then you want to study and you want to practice this, and then thoughts come and then you think, oh, let me have a cup of coffee. And there it's gone. So slowly we have to kind of take a grip on the subconscious. And it's not an easy task. It is an easy task. Like it's a royal road. The path of knowledge is a royal road. But you have to sweat it out, don't worry. It's not an easy walk. So this is why. Why is this the subconscious and the collective unconscious? Why is it difficult? Oh, it's very difficult. These are primal mechanisms like hunger, thirst, sex, aggression, etc. All these fundamental urges in us, which are parts of the subconscious mind, are part of all mammalians. In fact, they are not all reptiles. Even crustaceans, right down to. These are old structures of the person, and we think we are very fine. No. All this is nonsense. We are not fine at all. We are under the control of this. How do you control all these primal structures in the brain, or you can say in the mind? Only through this. Through the practice. After practicing the jnana, then you have the steadfastness and knowledge. Okay. There's another set of practice of knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter. Understand from me, that is Krishna is saying, in brief indeed, the process by which one who has achieved success attains Brahman, which is the supreme consummation of knowledge. And then he lists some of the qualities that you need. Being endowed with a pure intellect and controlling oneself with fortitude. Rejecting the objects beginning from sound, etc., sound, taste, touch, and eliminating attachment and hatred. One who resorts to solitude, eats sparingly, has speech, body, and mind under control, to whom meditation and concentration are ever the highest duty, and who is possessed of dispassion. That person, having discarded egotism, force, pride, desire, anger, and superfluous possessions, free from the idea of possessions and serene, is fit for becoming Brahman. So this is what is the practice of knowledge. Starts with, like I said, humility, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. Thank God I memorized all this when I was young. Acharyo pasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. So so we get the idea. And this is what is crucial here. Through repeated practice, they say, knowledge purifies the embodied soul. What is this embodied soul? There's a long, you can say, discussion in this book, Atmabodha, where Swami Nikhilananda speaks about the Jiva and Ishvara, etc. But to paraphrase that, the Jiva, we are all Jivas, individual souls. And this is characterized as what? Okay. It's dissected into like, they have 5 coverings of the Jiva. The food sheath, the vital force sheath, that's the Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh. Then the mental sheath, Manomaya Kosh. Then the intelligence sheath, Vijnanamaya Kosh. and then the bliss sheath, the Anandamaya Kosha, 5. It's also, there are 3 states of consciousness every jiva has. It is waking, dream, and deep sleep. This jiva is under the control of karma, which it has done. Nobody is to be blamed. There is some to be blamed. That external world is to be blamed, okay. But not really. If I hit a tennis ball, like a squash, hit against a wall, that ball is going to come back to me. And so you cannot blame that external world and all the people. I'm hitting something and it's coming back to me. It's like a boomerang. So things I've done and said and thought, I've thrown. So all these come and hit me. They're actually hitting us right now. We had thrown, we don't know when. So this individual soul is nothing but a reflection of that supreme soul. And that supreme soul is called Ishvara, God. Okay? That's why we said we are parts of God. But the jiva, we are parts of God. We are the likeness of God. We are everything like that. We are divine. We are this. But right now, it is bound by the fetters that it has created for itself. Why? Because idea of separation and also the ignorance about its real nature. So this embodied soul, that's why it's called embodied. It is embodied in the sense that it has a body and senses and mind and the intellect, etc. That's why this is called embodied soul. Otherwise, you just call it soul. Okay. So knowledge purifies that embodied soul. So knowledge cuts through that karma that we had created. So after cutting, so that's what it means, purifies. And then itself, it disappears. Really? It disappears. Yeah, like that, the powder of that nut. Yeah. Goes in and dissolves. Then what happens? Then that's what we are saying. So we'll take the notes here in this verse. Repeated practice, long and interrupted meditation on Brahman, which firmly stamps a man's consciousness with knowledge of his true divine nature. Here it is. It's kind of, it burns, that knowledge, the practice kind of burns its way on all your activities, on all your thoughts and all your words. Everything, it burns its way. And it's like, everything else is kind of cauterized and made ineffective. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says, Satu Dirghakala Nayanantarya Satkara, it is grounded, the waves in the mind are grounded after long practice with great love for the goal to be attained. Long, constant efforts. So this is what is repeated practice. Okay. The second note here is knowledge. Self-knowledge which makes a person realize that he is not a doer or an experiencer, but the all-pervading Brahman, existence, consciousness. So we started with the practice of knowledge. Jnana Abhyasa leads to steadfastness in knowledge. And this steadfastness in knowledge dissolves ignorance and then itself disappears. This is the secondary knowledge which disappears. But what happens is that individual soul realizes it is existence, consciousness, bliss. It realizes it is knowledge itself. So the practice of knowledge is like that nut, kataka nut, the cleansing nut, which dissolves, removes all impurities, and what remains is knowledge. And that is what. So when you say existence, consciousness, bliss, these are three things: existence and consciousness and bliss. No. What do we really know? We know one thing, and that is existence. We know we exist. There's no doubt. And if you have doubt, then you need to go to some place where they will give you some therapy or meds or something like that. So we know this is so firm within our consciousness. We exist. It is in our consciousness. And that is why it's called existence. It is now, this is a relative existence. So I have to hold on to this. I exist. I am conscious. And what about bliss? My life is full of unhappiness. Yeah, you may be unhappy. The clouds come and go, but then there is. Thank God I'm alive. Oh, thank God I exist. Oh yeah. There's a bliss aspect also. So what existence is, consciousness is bliss. It is not three things. You are not three things. And Vedanta have been trying to break 3, 4, 5, 6, all things. We're trying to bring it down to the most simplest thing in the universe. Make it one. As simple as that. Because when you have two, you will have great problems. You've seen in our lives, when you're alone, you're happy. Bliss. The moment you have something else, gone. So this is how it dissolves everything. So remember, I said attention, it's a tool of your existence and your consciousness and your bliss. But it is subject to all those crazy things which are. In reference to something up, we say it is down. It is not. To break somebody's illusions, many people's illusions, it is not something sub. The moment you say sub, it means, oh, down below, underneath, beneath the carpet or something like that. It is not there. It is on the fringes. And it is conscious by its own right. Only thing, because we cannot see beyond the fringes, or we don't want to see, or something like that, we say it's subconscious. And as I mentioned, it means we do not know. So we call it subconscious. It is not hidden beneath your conscious mind. It is part of your conscious mind, but on the fringes. The moment your attention wavers, it pushes in. You go to the ballad locks and then you keep the locks, keeping the waters, holding it back. And then the moment the locks are lowered, the water comes. It's like that. The moment your attention wavers, everything comes in. So it is not beneath, it is around you, within you, outside you, everywhere. Why? Why the mind is everywhere. And then again, just in reference to that, the collective unconscious, because our memories are associated with trees, plants, birds, animals, this, that, the whole thing. So here we are. That is a collective unconscious. Where are they? They are not hidden under the subconscious. It's here. So it's one of the reasons why the study of Vedanta is essential, it breaks away all your old frames of reference. It breaks it. Hey, listen, this is what you are. There's no up or below. So where's space? Space is up. What do you mean space up? We are on top because we are on top near. We are in Seattle and we are Northwest American. So we are on top of the world. The guys in Australia are saying, we are on top of the world. What is this? Those guys are, well. So it is necessary to break our kind of crystallized ideas about ourselves and the world and the mind also. So through repeated practice, knowledge purifies the embodied soul and it will divest itself. Now, are these layers very clearly demarcated? The food sheath melts into the vital force sheath, and the vital force sheath melts into the mind sheath, and the mind sheath melts into the intelligence sheath, and intelligence into the bliss sheath. Everything is kind of suffused. There's a kind of in the spectrum, there is that predominant, okay, this is the food, and this is the mind, and this is the intelligence. It's covered. So if you say there's a nucleus, and then where's the electrons moving about? In the old days, it was like a solar system. When we were young, we used to see electrons moving around like very defined paths. Now that thing is, so it's a cloud, it's a shell. So the individual soul is there somewhere. Where is that? Oh, it is here. It is only for meditation. Okay, consciousness is reflected in that electron cloud, as it were, or the nucleus. And the mind is everywhere, running about. This gives us an idea. Okay, and then we have, like I said, we are caught up with our own karma. But this is an illusion. Yes. But when you get down to it, you will find the whole thing was, you can dismiss it off. Only it was leading you towards, these books were leading you towards an illusion in the sense of, no, I must make it very clear. The world is not illusory. Where is the world? The world is divine. You are seeing it as the world, that is an illusion. So, the world is an illusion. The world is a reality called Brahman or Ishvara or God. But we are seeing it not as it is. We are seeing something different. That is the illusion. And that illusion is yours. Doesn't belong to the world and doesn't belong to Brahman. And there's a big discussion. Where does the illusion exist? In Brahman or where? So it's in the Jiva here. Because we can see. So we are seeing something which is non-existent. That's what they say. It's non-existent. Okay? Yeah, these are very hard things. But then slowly. We are also thinking of self as jivas. And then finally, when everything is purified, you will find that it is existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. That's what he says. That we are not the doer or the experiencer. Purifies, the word purifies is of such illusory ideas as birth and death and happiness and unhappiness, which are falsely superimposed on my birthday, happy birthday. There. Yeah. Nobody says happy that day. But that is important also. Imagine if there was only birth. Without that. Thank God. So falsely, so who has done that falsely? It is you who are thinking of all these things. That I'm born, I'm dying, I'm this, I'm that, and all these things. It's you. Nobody else has to be blamed for that. Embodied soul, yes, as I said, through ignorance, it seems to be embodied. One day, the cloud, as the previous verse, the cloud will shift, move. Then you will see, oh, all these things. We are looking at a movie and watching the movie, and we don't realize there's a stable screen. And in that movie you're watching, there's the fire and the floods and the tsunami and there's the earthquakes and this and that, and wow, you're caught up in that kind of drama. And then finally everything is over and the screen remains. The screen has not undergone any burn marks or water marks or anything. It's not cracked with the earthquake, nothing. The whole thing gets over once. Then you will see, oh, it's all divine. So people have been emphasizing the illusoriness of the world, which Vedanta does not. It emphasizes the divinity of the soul and the divinity of the world. And as an extension of this is what is called illusion. So people are going around and speaking about Advaita Vedanta says the world is an illusion. And when I listened to all these things, I said, oh my God, I might as well go back in my cave and sit down. I don't want to listen to all these things. So as a result of ignorance, such finite ideas as I, me, mine are superimposed on the self. Superimposition is done. The self, the Atman, is superimposed on the body and the senses and the mind. And then the reverse superimposition, the body and the senses and the mind is superimposed on the Atman. So a double whammy. I don't know, whatever. So when you say, do you exist? Yes, I exist. The body, the mind, the senses. Okay. This is the Atman. You tell anybody, hey, Atman. Yes, yes. But how come the Atman has become the body? So you have superimposed the idea of existence and consciousness on the body and senses and mind. And in a reverse way, in a very, I don't know how it happens. The body, senses, mind, etc. is superimposed on the Atman. So spiritual practice is to remove this idea of superimposition by replacing you with the idea of God. Here it is. So you repeatedly keep on practicing your meditation, japa, and concentration, etc., etc. So you're removing that superimposition of, okay, God dwells in me, etc. I don't dwell there. God dwells in me. So where do I dwell? You get out. Actually, what happens, the I merges into that divinity. Okay. So, as I said, we don't want two people there. One is enough. God is enough. What about this I? Okay, go and merge inside. So ignorance, maya, avidya, ajnana. In fact, in the last class, we had a long discussion on these terms. Ignorance, maya, non-knowledge, and absence of knowledge are terms in Vedanta philosophy. And as you've said, everything in this world is made up of this very thing. Your body, we are talking your body, your senses, your mind, your intellect even. The external world, whether it is a wood or stone or everything, is made out of absence of knowledge, Maya, Prakriti. So it is hard also. Maya is hard also. People had the idea of Maya as it's like a more dream. The world is a dream. No, it's a very solid thing here. The dream has become solid. You you try to hit yourself. Oh, it's a solid thing. So Maya is solid, liquid, and gaseous, and plasma also. All everything, whatever. So because this is what is responsible for creation. It is responsible for creation, so it is not absolutely non-existent. At the same time, this whole thing, this solid, liquid, gas, plasma, etc., are found to disappear. And they say, what happened? And in its place, you'll find a reality called Brahman. So where did that go? So you cannot say it exists, only Brahman exists. So it is not non-existence, it is not existence. It is not a combination of both existence and non-existence, because that's a contradiction. How can a thing be stationary and can even be moving at the same time? So this is what Maya is. It is there, it is not there. Okay. Like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. It is there, it is not there. Yeah. So this is what because of this one non-dual Brahman to us has become this world. When this veil has been taken off with the introduction of this powder, of this kataka nut, the cleansing nut, then everything else goes away. I think it is a bit heavy going. Don't worry, that heavy going, once you get the basic principles right, then it becomes easy going. I mean, not in that sense, but Vedanta becomes. I wanted to emphasize this practice of knowledge, which leads to the steadfastness in knowledge, which purifies the individual soul jiva. Like the powder of a cleansing nut purifies the water, etc. And the mind, again, we have the idea that my mind, and okay, this is part of your mind is the subconscious mind, which is at the fringes. It is there at the fringes, and at that, not really fringes of the subconscious mind, but mixed with that subconscious mind is the collective unconscious. You are part of the whole. You cannot exist separately, individually. I am an individual. It's impossible. You may think you are an individual, but that's what Vedanta has been trying to break, this idea of you. I'm an individual. I have a personality. Your personality is dependent on a long history, which is shared with all creatures. That is the collective unconscious. Okay. We stop here for today. Sunday, the talk will be on Ramachandra, Sri Rama's life and message. It will be given by Swami Vimohananda, who is coming down from Vancouver. He is the minister in charge there, the Vivekananda Vedanta Society of British Columbia. And So at 10 o'clock, so he generally sings and also speaks. So you can have a delightful time. Okay, there's a question here. Given the suffering within the movie, do we have a duty to stand up for righteousness and ease that suffering, or is it better to focus only on the absolute screen? No. You better work towards reducing suffering. Stand for righteousness. Better to stand like, or to die like a coward. What is that? No coward will ever come to this absolute screen reality and all. It's meant for heroic people. So you stand for righteousness. Because you stand for righteousness, you're standing for yourself. If you don't have those righteous beliefs, then there's nothing there you can stand for. So because that's the reason why we say, if you don't have your personal values, what are you going to stand? What are you going to fight for? So, and these personal values, when you see, it's also shared by others. And that is what integrates society. So one should stand for righteousness. What is this? Vedanta says you better take your responsibility. Never run. Another false notion about Vedanta is you can escape things. No. You've got to take the bull by the horns, sorry. And that bull has come in trying to break into the china shop. You're going to catch that bull and you're going to fight it. Okay. I don't know if if you all remember, there was a very old movie, Quo Vadis. Where are you going? It's oh, you all haven't seen? Okay. Score 1 point for me. It's about the life of Saint Peter in Rome, and he was captured. He was taken there, and then he was trying to run away, escape you can say, the tortures and this and that, and because Rome had decided to, they caught these guys, the new Christians, as responsible for all the trouble. So you're trying to run away. And he's saying, then you're running away, and then he said, where are you going? Quo vadis. It's in Latin. And he said, yeah, why am I running away? He returns. And then he was crucified, etc. there. But in that scene, there's one guy who is a big, huge bull, and he has to grapple with that bull. And he holds it by the horns, and he breaks that finally. He's a huge giant of a man. I don't know who was that actor, and we were all young. The bull throws him up 5-6 times. And but finally he gets it and breaks that. So that's Vedanta. Get that bull. Get that bull. Hold it. No running away from responsibilities. If you do, that's not Vedanta. Then you can do something else. Okay. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna wanted to run away. They say, what? You're trained as a warrior. You're going to run away. You're a coward. Not only a coward, you're a eunuch. Running away. And that is, oh my God, what is this? Stand up here and fight. That's the whole idea of the Bhagavad Gita. Stand here and fight. So, we can take our online questions, in-person questions. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.